Hey guys, my name is Ian Duncan. I do have tutorials and tech stuff. So iPhone 13 is about to be released. Shout out to the Apple Circle for making a video about it. We are going to be reacting to the iPhone 13 and the new features that are going to be in it.
The iPhone 13 is getting some big new features, with some of the biggest possibly being some last-minute surprises. But is there really enough here to get excited about for the iPhone 13 series, or is this more of an
First of all, let's talk about the design. I love the camera design, whereby they are a bit diagonal. It looks quite good. At least you'll be able to spot the difference between the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 13.
Year, a year of smaller improvements, and maybe a year you should skip entirely. Let's talk about the 13 biggest features coming to the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro, talk about everything that is new, and also some last-minute features that could be...
I believe these are just models, but I quite see the cameras are a bit larger than the iPhone 12 Pro cameras.
On the surface, the iPhone 13 looks eerily similar to the iPhone 12, and that of course is not a mistake. By all accounts...
Yeah, as you can see between the both of them, the iPhone 13 has a larger camera than the iPhone 12. Then they are a bit spaced out.
This is going to be an S year for the iPhone, a year like the 4S, the 5S, the 6S, you get the idea. It's a year of smaller, under-the-hood, incremental improvements that, when added together, can be a really big deal and quite a substantial update depending on the iPhone that you have. But on the surface, there is no big design change, no big overhaul, really not a whole lot to get excited about unless you really start to add all the little features together, then it could possibly be a different story. So what's new on the iPhone 13 series? What is there really to get excited about on this year's iPhone lineup? Well, the first big feature, which might seem a little weird, but it is a big feature with these phones, is the physically smaller notch. Now, you might remember with the iPhone 10 back in 2017, that phone ushered with it the era of the notch. And since that phone debuted, there really hasn't been any significant change at all to the notch. That is until right now in 2021, when Apple is going to make the notch a little bit smaller.
It's a good change, such that you will be able to differentiate between the two. It's not a big deal.
Another cosmetic change on the outside of the iPhone 13 lineup is, of course, going to be the color options. We're not exactly sure what Apple is going to do with color options on the iPhone 13. Will the late edition of purple stick around until 2021? Will we get some new colors sort of shifted in there? I'd guess it's probably going to remain pretty much the same with what we have right now on the 12, though things could change. And on the...
I love the purple color. As you know, I love the purple color. I use it so much on my thumbnails, and yeah. That would be cool. That would be so cool.
Pro end, Apple is expected to introduce a new exclusive Pro color, going from midnight green and deep sea blue over to what some are referring to as sort of a sunset gold color. It's more of a copper, burnt orange, sort of a dark orange color that does look super cool.
Now, that one looks sick, I'm not going to lie. That one looks
sick. And I cannot wait to see what Apple's sort of spin and take on this color could be. That should be the exclusive color on the Pro and iPhones this year. And speaking of Pro and iPhones, Apple is giving the 13 Pro and Pro Max a lot of special attention this year, as it seems like most of the biggest features of the iPhone 13 lineup will kind of be reserved for these Pro and iPhones, specifically starting, of course, with the screen. Now, the screen size is going to remain the same, either 6.1 or 6.7 inches, depending on your model, but these displays will be now capable of 120 Hz ProMotion. Yes, at long last, ProMotion is coming to the iPhone. This is thanks to Apple adopting some LTPO technology into their displays that will give you sort of this ProMotion experience like what we have on the iPad Pro and what we've seen on other Android phones, finally on the Pro and iPhones for 2021. Really cool. Some people love it, some people don't really care, but it should be there on the Pro and iPhones. Now, interestingly enough, the other thing this technology allows for is an always-on display. And according to the rumors, Apple could adopt this sort of always-on display mode to be very similar to what we have on the Apple Watch since the Series 5, where you sort of glance down at your phone and you can see the time, maybe the weather, your activity rings, maybe some unread messages, sort of an ultra simple, minimalistic view of your notifications and kind of the status of your phone in this sort of low power, always-on display mode. Shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about the big features that could help your actual usage of these phones. Whether you have a 13 mini or a 13 Pro Max, what will be the big features that'll actually help you get more out of your iPhone? Well, two here to be specific we gotta talk about. One is the latest and greatest Apple processor inside of these phones, and the other is a bigger battery going in every 13 model. Of course, a bigger battery is a great thing. I don't think anybody's gonna complain about that. A bigger battery is expected to go to every iPhone 13 this year, from the 13 mini all the way up to the 13 Pro Max, especially
About the big battery, I have something to say about that. I don't feel like Apple have been promising on their battery life on iPhones, even though they say it's going to be a bigger battery. I don't really feel like it will be that much of a big upgrade. Maybe it's going to improve. I don't know. We'll see.
Especially a big deal on the 13 mini, and also we're going to get the latest and greatest Apple Silicon inside all of these phones as well. That of course is the A15 Bionic processor. It's going to be the most powerful, most efficient processor that's ever been in an iPhone, I have no doubt. Apple is going crazy with their silicon, and this is going to be really great to see. But I think what's going to be great is not only is this phone going to be fast and powerful and capable, but that ultra efficient processor with a bigger battery is going to work wonders for your iPhone, hopefully give you the best battery life if possible. The 13 Pro Max with the giant screen and giant battery should be an absolute powerhouse in terms of performance and battery life, and hopefully even the teeny tiny
If the battery life is going to be that big with the A15 processor, I feel like that will be sick, and it will be so smooth to use, very fast. It will be a very great phone, probably the best, I don't know.
Should have better battery life this year thanks to the bigger battery in the smallest iPhone. Now these next two features are a big deal in a sense, but it's also a little weird, so just bear with me here on these next two. The first of which being a big feature on the iPhone 13 series is the Lightning port. Now I know that sounds ridiculous, I know it sounds weird, I am right there with you, but technically this is kind of a feature on the iPhone 13 lineup this year. That is because we had heard a number of rumors that Apple was supposedly gonna remove the port starting on the iPhone this year. Maybe just one iPhone model, maybe the entire 13 lineup. But Apple was expected, at least for a couple of months, to remove the port from the iPhone 13 series, which drew a lot of criticism on both sides. Some people loved the idea, some people hated it, some people thought Apple should do it and kind of get this transition going, but for one
something about removing the Lightning port. I also heard something that they're going to be replacing it with the Android chargers. I don't know if they are going to switch to that, or maybe they are just going to go wireless. Tell me what you think about that, or if you heard those rumors.
One reason or another, you can rest assured the port is staying this year. So Lightning across the board is going to be a thing on the 13 series, so no portless iPhone this year, though that can't be said for next year, so just enjoy it while you can. And also, the other feature here to talk about is reverse wireless charging. Another weird feature because technically, it's kind of already there on the iPhone 12 series. The MagSafe battery attachment Apple just released can reverse wirelessly charge off the iPhone, but reverse wireless charging is technically not an official feature. Now that could change with the iPhone 13. There are some rumors that Apple is gonna build a bigger coil into the iPhone 13 lineup, every phone, and that could allow for reverse wireless charging to finally become an official feature, though it's still very unclear if this is gonna happen or not. So maybe reverse wireless charging for like Qi devices like AirPods and maybe the Apple Watch, though that's kind of weird Qi, and maybe additional iPhones as well, or other phones that support Qi charging could be reverse wirelessly charged off the back of the 13.
If that happens, he said that is not official. I feel like that would be cool. Yeah, but tell me what you guys think about it.
And last but certainly not least, we gotta talk about the big features coming to the cameras on the iPhone 13 lineup, because there is some stuff here to get excited about. Now, every iPhone 13 model should be getting sensor shift stabilization. This was just on the 12 Pro Max last year, but should be coming to every iPhone model this year, which is super cool to see. And then in terms of cameras on the 13 mini and the 13, it's gonna be the same wide and ultra wide lens. They're gonna be in a diagonal orientation, and we could see larger physical sensors, though it's really unclear what Apple could change, if anything, in terms of hardware on the 13 and 13 mini. It seems like most of the big features for this year are gonna be reserved for the 13 Pro and Pro Max. On those phones, there is gonna be a physical change to the ultra wide camera. It's gonna be able to capture more light at an f1.8 aperture, and it should also be able to have better autofocusing capabilities built in. In addition to that, Apple is also adding some exclusive software features just for the Pro and Pro Max. Last year was Apple Pro Raw, and this year Apple is adding a number of different features just for the Pro and iPhones. The first is ProRes video support. According to Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, Apple is adding ProRes video support to the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. You can record higher quality, less compressed video, especially great if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you're editing in Final Cut. This should be super nice to see, as well as portrait mode video. This is gonna be a thing on the Pro and iPhones that'll allow you to shoot portrait mode video on those phones, presumably probably using some of the data from the LiDAR sensor and maybe some of that in conjunction with the power of the A15.
Now, I must say that I will be a big fan of the portrait mode video. It's already on FaceTime, whereby you can it will just focus on you and it will blur the background, and that will be a cool feature. That will be so sick. I love it.
Should finally be a thing this year on the 13 Pro and Pro Max.
Then I don't really think that the ultra wide camera will be much of a difference. Maybe just it will be better around darker areas.
And then some other camera features for photos. We had heard from Max Weinbach that Apple could add an astrophotography mode, which would be super cool and sort of allow you to capture these cool pictures at night. Not sure if that's happening or not, but according to Mark Gurman over Bloomberg, Apple is expected to add these new sort of color filters, color profiles to your photos that essentially uses AI to sort of stylize and give you some different looks and some different themes to the photos you take on your Pro and iPhones. It's a step above what you get in sort of the regular photo editing app. Now, something that could come as sort of a one more thing and completely change everything could be under display Touch ID. That was rumored for a while.
This will be sick because right now on the iPhone 12 Pro, it's only face unlock, and this hasn't been there and has been pretty much on other latest phone. That would be so sick.
One reason or another, it was cut from the iPhone 13 Pro lineup this year. Maybe we could see it next year with the iPhone 14. Maybe Apple implements it into the power button.
But I thought he had said that it will be on the iPhone 13. He has said that it will be in the 14. I was anticipating that the Touch ID will be on it. Maybe I don't know. We just wait for the next one.
Your thoughts. What are you most excited to see on the iPhone 13? If you're going to pick one up, which model are you going with and why? And also, what are you most disappointed didn't make the cut on this year's iPhone? Let's talk about it in the comments down below.
That was it for the video. What I've liked is the A15 processor and the big battery life, which I hope won't be a disappointment, and have been pretty much what most iPhone users complain about. Let's wait until it's released and we can do another reaction video about it, because I'm not going to get it. I still can't afford it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm out. Peace.